This can shatter your dreams of early retirement overnight.
But we got some solutions for you. And the final solution at the end of this video is the mother lode of them all.
If you have retired early or are planning to retire early before Medicare kicks in, you are in for a rude awakening.
Yeah.
Imagine your $600 healthcare premium suddenly jumping to $1,200.
And that is double, folks. And you don't get double of the healthcare coverage with it. It is not buy a 2-for-1 gelato. It is more like bringing a puppy home from the shelter and then you choose through your best shoes while you're still wearing them.
And this puppy's name is OBBA, the one big beautiful bill. Cute name, but it's got a very ugly, expensive bite when it comes to healthcare. If you're planning to retire early, OBBA can become the single line item that blows up your plan, unless you make some smart moves now.
So don't you worry, guys. This is not doom and gloom. Stick with us because by the end of this episode, you will walk away with 2 clear solutions, one for the US and one for abroad if that strikes your fancy. And the second one flips the story, and we will show you how in this video.
So we're at our kitchen table. It's 11 at night, spreadsheets are open, I log into the ACA site, type in our info, and boom, $1,200 a month just for the 2 of us.
And then he hits refresh again. Like the website might get tired and just get pity on him because he just keeps hitting click, 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 click.
But hey, denial is free of charge, right? But the doubled cost of healthcare on the screen wasn't budging. That's when I looked at Ella and said, that changes everything.
Yeah, it does. And that was not a good feeling, but that gave us a start. We started playing with a new playbook, one that put us in control.
That's right.
So guys, subscribe so you don't miss the steps that we're about to show you. We will go more in depth about our system in other videos, but we will show you the start of it today.
So what can you actually do in the US so your doubled healthcare costs don't chew up your early retirement?
So we have heard that some people that retire early do try to game it, qualify for Medicaid or hover just under the ACA Obamacare marketplace subsidy cliff. It does sound clever, but until $1 pushes you over that cliff.
The cliff means if your income creeps over a certain line, your subsidy can shrink hard or even vanish. There are folks planning withdrawals to the penny just to avoid an expensive surprise.
But I don't know how that is freedom. That's like walking on a tightrope. Have you ever tried to live under a number like that? What kind of lifestyle does it even offer? Plus, there is word now that the subsidies that made the marketplace attractive are going away, unless Congress does something about it. But here comes the double the price for healthcare premiums with as much as we know at this current time.
So instead of playing roulette, here are 4 real plays that can work for you in the US. They're not perfect, nothing is, and some are costly, but they give you options, and options are power. So we'll go briefly over these. Play 1. HSA, the Health Savings Account. It's a triple tax win. Money goes in tax-free, grows tax-free, and comes out tax-free for qualified medical costs.
And HSAs do roll year to year, so you are building a healthcare war chest, not a use it or lose it kind of fund.
It won't solve everything, but it cushions you, especially if healthcare rules change. The cushion is a peace of mind.
To encourage you to share with us if you've ever used HSA so that others that have not can learn from your experience.
Play number 2. COBRA, not the snake, though this does have a very expensive bite.
You can keep your employer plan for after you leave up to 18 months, but only if you pay the full premium. Your employer will not subsidize it as they did when you were employed.
Is COBRA expensive? Yes, but it buys you time. That's breathing room. That can get you through your first year or so of retirement without having a paperwork panic.
So think of COBRA like obedience school for the puppy. Short term, but pricey, but it does keep things calm while you are trying to figure out the next step.
Play number 3 in the US, direct primary care. I call it Dr. Netflix. You pay a flat monthly membership fee, often $60 to $100, and you get direct access to your doctors, texts, calls, longer visits.
It does not replace hospital coverage, but it does lower how often you need the big insurance.
Play 4 in the US. It's a doozy, but in a pinch, you could go back to work. I mean, part-time. Some big employers like Costco and Starbucks, they do offer health benefits for part-time employees.
So is that glamorous? Well, no. Is it real? Then yes. Sometimes a paycheck and an insurance card is the perfect bridge until you qualify for Medicare. But that would defeat the purpose of retiring early. So if you have retired early, would you take a part-time role just for the healthcare benefits? Well, probably if you're in a pinch, right? Tell us why or why not. We'd like to know more from you.
So yes, you can make a U.S. early retirement scenario work, but does this fulfill your early retirement dreams?
But here's the thing. If $1,200 a month just keeps the insurance card in your wallet here in the U.S., what could that same money buy you if you are living abroad?
Abroad, in some of the low-cost countries, $1,200 can equal rent, groceries, state and residential health care, and new adventures on top of that.
Yeah, the cherry on the top. So let's talk about 3 healthcare options that people actually do use when they are abroad.
Those are global expat insurance, nomad insurance, and local state insurance. Each has its trade-offs.
Yeah. So option 1, when you are abroad, it's the global expat insurance. Companies like Cigna, Global, Allianz, and others. You can tailor your coverage for routine care abroad and for visits in the U.S. However, the duration of visits in the U.S. is going to be a little bit shorter. So for a couple, many plans come in well below the typical U.S. ACA marketplace insurance premiums.
Global expat insurance is a bigger safety net than simply travel insurance, and the price often feels sane compared to what we start at in the US.
And option number 2, if you are abroad, it's the nomad insurance, such as Safety Wing, IMG Global, those kind of plans. Those are flexible month to month, and they are designed for slow travelers.
But the catch, US coverage is usually limited with these plans. Sometimes they cover short visits up to 3 months or so. So it's really a set number of days. And this is not so great if you expect to spend more than, let's say, 3 months in the US.
And guys, this is option number 3 if you are living abroad. Local state resident insurance. It's one of the lowest in cost and it gives you peace of mind. You end up moving in that low-cost country, you do become a resident, you join the country's system, or buy a local private plan when you're there. Costs are very modest very often.
There's also just walking to the pharmacy to get meds without a prescription.
And this actually happened to me in our last exploratory trips when we were in Southern Europe. I needed antibiotics and some allergy meds when I was in Albania, but I was told that I didn't need to see a doctor for something this small, even though we're talking antibiotics, which would be a prescription medication here in the US. And so I did. I just walked into the pharmacy, I explained my symptoms, and the pharmacist, she asked questions, tried to clarify, tried to triage. There was no forms, and I walked out with antibiotics and the allergy meds that were prescription strength without having to pay for a doctor's visit in Albania. And I found out that very often that is the case in Italy and Turkey as well. If I were in the US in this instance, I would have had to schedule an appointment with my doctor, pay the copay at the doctor, wait for the medication to be filled at the pharmacy, and pay the copay at the pharmacy. So I avoided all this while being abroad and paid only $15 for the 2 prescription strength medications, antibiotic and allergy meds.
Hey, back home, $15 barely buys a dog a toy, which she'll destroy in a few minutes.
Yeah, abroad it did cover actually real and fast healthcare.
Putting it all together, you're not just saving money, you're lowering your stress. You're buying peace of mind and reclaiming time. Once we saw the options, we did something simple but powerful. We built 2 budgets, and those 2 budgets told us 2 very different stories.
And that's 2 budgets that create 2 very completely different lifestyles. In the USA, around $6,000 a month all in, but abroad, around $2,500. It's the same couple, it's still the same us, but totally different lifestyles.
Take us in the US. Sit in traffic, drive to Costco, pay a healthcare premium that feels like a second mortgage.
But abroad, that same premium money goes to fund a beautiful sunny apartment with a balcony, with a fresh bread right downstairs, walkable streets, and bills that do not raise your blood pressure.
Then we go out and roam around, and Ella gets lost in the old town as usual.
As usual, yeah. But that is how I always find the best bakeries.
This is true.
And I tell you about the gelato places that you fancy.
Yes, and we found some amazing gelato places that way. Let's get lost some more.
Okay, guys, so let's just look at this simply then. In the US, the first $1,200 disappears into just healthcare premiums before you even get groceries. But abroad, that same $1,200 can cover rent and healthcare and still leave something for fun.
So if you had an extra $3,500 every month, what would you do with it? Travel, help family, give more? We'd love to hear.
So Kevin, what would you do if your money doesn't jiggle but it folds? What would you do with the savings that do accumulate as you live in lower cost countries abroad?
We envision our money flowing like a river. We don't mean to have a lifestyle where we just keep gathering for our fun and get to be just like a stinking pond. No.
Yes, we do envision our life and money like a river that flows towards family, towards helping in life causes, towards experiences that are worth remembering.
That's how we decide to respond to OBBA, not with panic, but with a vision that creates margin. A margin that changes how retirement feels.
And that does bring us to something much deeper than just budget spreadsheets. How all of that shapes your lifestyle and your relationships.
OBBA doesn't just change numbers in your budget. When it comes to healthcare premiums and it doubles, it changes how early retirement life feels.
We are okay financially, but when premiums do rise, they do squeeze that margin that we've worked so hard to save. And I'm pretty sure that you feel the same way about it. It does take away from what makes life feel spacious, like time with family, freedom to say yes to your dreams, and energy to give back.
Retirement saving margin is breathing room. It's the difference between deciding on trips now or later. It's what lets you fly home when someone needs you, invite family to join you abroad, or linger a month longer.
And by leaving those rising costs behind in the US, we create more margin in our budget for causes that we do care about, for supporting our families, for trips and more adventures. And yes, more gelatos for Kevin.
Yeah, look, the gelato budget is a sacred trust. I'm just saying, it's staying in the budget.
And there it will be. So the bigger point is this. When you are abroad, the healthcare does not swallow your freedom. It does create space for joy, generosity, and connection, things you can taste, share, and remember.
If OBBA wasn't shrinking your saving retirement margin, what would you spend it on? Family, travel, or giving back? Tell us below.
And all these changes did lead us to a family decision. We actually literally put it to a vote.
And the bill passed, but it wasn't the one big beautiful bill.
Instead, it was the big, beautiful, smart retirement abroad. And unlike OBBA, this puppy doesn't chew your shoes.
Subscribe to join us and watch next our budget for abroad. Numbers, line by line, so you too can see exactly how this works.
And remember, OBBA does not have to write your story. You are in control, and we get to write together a smarter one.
This is Smart Retirement Abroad, where we'll walk beside you as we prepare to retire early. Not just with money, but with meaning.